Here, we're live.
Oh,
Hey.
I don't believe you.
Oh, well, it's true. Welcome to the show. This is something new, something potentially very fun. There's going to be some hiccups along the way, I'm sure, so feel free to let me know what I'm missing. If my sounds are off or anything like that, please do let me know. I'm not alone today, and that's nice. I have Jesse here with me.
Yoy.
There he is. There's my man. Sidekicking it. And it's weird. I'm not used to being the host, so.
Hey, is your mic up?
Should be.
Mic slider. Check.
Right
okay.
there.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's a different. That's
Okay.
the. Thing.
Sorry.
No, hey, that's
Button in over here, man.
that's why we're here. That's exactly why we're here. So, the whole point of this is to try something a little different, and everybody has the chance to interact. I'm gonna try and take calls live. I think it's gonna work. I've tried testing it a bunch, so it should work. It should work. The number is 805-666-2513. Follow the codes. They tell you to ask. They ask for your name. You don't have to give your name if you don't want to. But yeah, then we'll let you in. We'll talk. It'll be fun. We're gonna learn about some shit today. We're gonna learn about spontaneous human combustion. I put a poll up on Facebook, and that seemed to be the most popular result of the 4 that I posted. What's that Incubus song?
Oh, you know.
Yeah, the one that we sang.
But I don't want to get DMCA'd.
Oh yeah, no, we talked about that pretty much, or we sang that pretty much every time we talk about spontaneous human combustion, because why not?
And that's kind of what makes me feel like it's a reason that it became the one that people voted at the top. It's had its effect on pop culture over the years.
Yeah,
A lot more than maybe Nightmares, or I can't remember what all the polls were, because I was like, fuck yeah, human combustion!
Yeah, spontaneous human combustion. I don't remember what else was out there, but I'm sure some of that stuff that doesn't get voted in will get cycled through again. But we're going to talk about what is spontaneous human combustion. A person bursts into flames from an unknown source, apparently without being ignited by an external heat source. So it's supposed to just happen. Spontaneous, duh. Human combustion. It's happened before. Most cases were burned almost completely, usually head and torso. The extremities weren't generally affected, and there's reasons for that, and we'll get into it. It's reported that oftentimes clothes remained hardly touched, or furniture and beds that people were lying on will go without burns mostly, or will be very lightly burned. But I'm pretty skeptical of that, because how do you have something on fire sitting on top of something and not have that something burned? So the first case was recorded in 1663. A woman went up in ashes and smoke, according to Thomas Bartholin, a Danish astronomist. He also said the event hardly charred the straw bed she slept in. So somebody please explain me how.
She's just rendered out?
Yeah, more or less.
That's really all I can think of. Like, honestly, like if someone were fat enough and they were burning like from the top down, perhaps that final layer of fat just sort of renders down instead of combusting. That's gross. It's gross to think about.
Well,
it's
yeah, but it makes sense, because heat rises, so you would burn top down. But what about, like, if you're in clothes? Like, why wouldn't the front of your sweater burn?
I would imagine like if you've gotten to a point where it's rendering to a bottom area that's so moist there that it's not going to, sorry for all you moist haters, it's not going to burn the hay bed or whatever.
I wonder how much of it's actually just spontaneous human boiling.
It's like much slower than people anticipate.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't get caught up, and that's why things don't burn. They just get singed from the heat.
And just super duper painful.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine. But we're not talking about that. In 1978, 2 dudes went up in smoke in Southern California. I saw the documentary. Their names were Cheech and Chong.
How fun.
Real life examples. In 1951, one of the most well-known cases of spontaneous human combustion occurred. The victim was a 62-year-old woman named Mary Reeser, and according to a neighbor's account, on July 2nd, she found Reeser's doorknob smoldering hot, immediately asked for help from 2 workers, and they found Reeser sitting on her chair, burned. So that's pretty heavy. it's crazy that it produced enough heat to make the doorknob hot.
Right. What's the... your next facts you have are insane to me.
Yeah.
Like the actual temperatures that it reaches.
Yeah, let's get to it then. Reese's skull shrank into the size of a teacup, and the only visible parts of her body were her vertebrae and her left foot. Side note, I've seen the picture, and it's
I remember this photograph.
I know, because I like to send you this shit.
Yeah.
I've seen the picture. It's gnar. Just if you want to see it, message me. I'll find it. I'll send it to you. Police officers and pathological doctors investigated the incident. Based on the examination, the apartment was covered with a greasy substance, but the apartment was intact. So nothing, it wasn't an electrical short. It wasn't a stove that caught fire. It wasn't, a furnace malfunctioning. It was covered in a greasy substance, though, like, hoods in restaurants above the grill.
Delicious.
Yeah. So that's gross.
What do you think, chat? How does that time you finally go up and clean the hood, even at your house? Sometimes that's not the first thing you hit when you wipe everything down.
Yeah,
how you want that hanging around?
That's just the grossest fucking thing.
Then you just turn into a puddle of that.
Ugh. To be found like that, to find somebody like that. So the electrical outlet melted only after the fire had begun. So the temperature reached around 2,500 degrees, which can cause a fire in the entire apartment, but this didn't happen. A cigarette igniting her clothing would never produce as high as 2,500 degrees. Regardless, the investigators concluded the case of Reese's fiery death caused by falling asleep with a cigarette on her hand. So they're saying it burned at 25 degrees. Science says a cigarette can't ignite anything to burn that hot. Like, wood fires don't get that hot.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. I believe that gold melts at that point. I'm looking up metal melting points right now, but 2,500 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, if you hit that link right there, that's got that link right there. It's got a bunch of
points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now, and the highest ones are... Yeah, I mean, it's melting almost every metal on here. There's only 3 or 4 that I'm looking, and I've never even heard of them.
Yeah.
And then wrought iron. It wouldn't quite melt wrought iron, but it would get it very, very, very close, which is insane to me as well.
It's wild, man. So in Pennsylvania, a spontaneous human combustion happened to a retired physician named John Irving Bentley, which is, I got to say, that's a dope name.
It's a dope name.
That's a dope name.
When you got a name like that, you got to go out in flames. You know what I'm saying?
My man was hot. The incident captured the imagination of newspaper writers and readers in 1960s, and his burned image is now one of the symbols of spontaneous human combustion in modern days. He was found in his toilet room, scorched with only one leg as the remains. I've seen that picture too. That is also very, very gnar. Again, I can send it to you. I'm not going to just post it out there because, not everybody likes gore.
Sadly, I think I've seen all these. Greg, is there any way you can turn me up a little bit?
I don't believe so.
I'm boosted, guys. I'll just try to be louder and be up in this thing. Don't worry about me.
I hope that did it.
Learned.
So, Jean-Lucille Saffin, a mentally handicapped woman, burst into flames in her kitchen in 1982. She was with her father at the time when she suddenly started burning. So, could you imagine looking at somebody and then they just kind of burst into flames in front of you? That's fucking terrifying. According to Jack, Jean's father, she saw her
daughter.
daughter.
What just happened right now?
Just
you need to switch the camera over to me fast. All right, I appreciated the speed right there.
Yeah, I got you. I'm new to this. I'm new to this.
I'm just keeping you on your toes over here.
Please do. So he saw her just enveloped in flames. He shouted for his son-in-law's help, and they brought her to a hospital. However, after 8 days, she died because of complications from the burn. So that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean,
so they're just chilling together, and
You know you know how like when people make fun of drunks and they're like, "Oh man, if I light a match around you."
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this was obviously not probably not the case, but like that's this thing brought to life, and that's scary.
That is terrifying. Yes, correct. Is the perfect.
During the 20th century, there were notable cases of spontaneous human combustion. A young Brazilian woman burst into flames as she was strolling on a road. According to reports, bystanders even tried to stop the flames, but they couldn't save the poor girl. The incident happened in a matter of seconds, and the girl burned to death.
So she's just walking down the road and combusts?
Yeah. Have you seen the video of the lady? I believe it's in China, and she's walking down the road, and her head's just on fire.
No.
It's terrifying. It
sounds terrifying.
It's legit terrifying. And
I've like burned knuckle hairs and been like, oh no,
she's
what can I do?
She's in a pair of underwear and she's walking down the road.
She's a crazy lady.
And her head is on fire. Just, I mean, like you know how when you dip your finger in alcohol and light it on fire and it just sits there and burns? It's like that, but it's not a blue flame.
Either that or just a couple minutes before that, she just said, flame on.
Yeah. Dude, I mean,
I like that theory personally of all of them. Mine's the best. That's what I think. How say you?
Next time I see the link, I'm going to send it to you.
Here's what I'm thinking about that. Don't. But hey, you know, like you do your thing, I'll do mine. I don't really open.
Yeah,
things
Richard Pryor, anyway. Stinky Trinket nailed it. Richard Pryor. Except I guess this lady might have been freebasing. I don't know. Yeah. In 2010, Michael Faraday, an Irishman, was burned to death in his home. And based on the investigations, Faraday died due to spontaneous human combustion phenomenon. No evidence supported external sources of fire and thus led officers to conclude it was a spontaneous human combustion incident. Huh. So I have a source for these stories. I'll post it somewhere. Go to hellagregLIVE.com. Go there. I'll post stuff up there or something. I'll make it easy. I don't want people thinking that I wrote all this shit because I'm not that smart. If you call in, want to comment on any of these stories, again, please. Or if you just want to talk about spontaneous human combustion, 805-666-2513. Tell them your name, the little robotic thing. Tell it your name, and then I'll talk to you. We'll do it right here, right now.
Yo, if anybody's called, we should just call them back.
I feel like that might have been a spam call.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. If you called, call again.
Now is the time.
Yes. So the theories for what caused spontaneous human combustion range pretty vast. Methane gases build up in your intestines, and they're ignited by enzymes in a chemical reaction. That makes sense, I think.
It feels like if that were the case, you could just like have a terrible night at Buffalo Wild Wings and go home and spontaneously.
That's why it's spontaneous, dude. It could happen at any time.
Yeah, I guess.
Like more random aneurysms.
Yeah, except for a little more extreme.
Yeah. So your body is essentially releasing hydrocarbons. I had to copy and paste this from a smart person's website. But a hydrocarbon or a chemical substance unexpectedly bursts into flames without apparent cause. In ordinary combustion, the hydrocarbon is deliberately heated to its ignition point to make it burn. During this process, many hydrocarbons undergo slow oxidation that, like the rapid oxidation of burning, releases heat. If the heat so released cannot escape, the temperature of the hydrocarbon rises until ignition takes place. Spontaneous combustion often occurs in piles of hydrocarbon-soaked oily rags and can constitute a serious fire hazard. So basically it's just the degradation of the molecules, the shit, the actual stuff itself dying off, and when it dies off it releases heat, and too much released in a small area will cause spontaneous human combustion.
Paul said that Franny called, and while you check into that, I'm going to read a comment that Aaron wrote. Mimi Jones says, we are just small organisms living in a bigger world, like the locker inside of Men in Black. Bigger creatures are just putting magnifying glasses on us and burning us to death. I mean, look, I can't prove you wrong. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, what was? Oh, that was a. It's a movie reference. Bruce Almighty. God's just a cruel kid with a magnifying glass, and we're all just ants.
The great Oscar-winning film, Bruce Almighty. It is pretty good though. Jim Carrey is a national treasure if you're from Canada.
I think that may have been peak Jim Carrey. I mean, I know he started. No. I'm sorry. I take that back. Not peak Jim Carrey. End of his prime Jim Carrey.
Okay, I see.
Because I think he's still good. He's past his prime.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a crazy guy now. We all need some crazy guys.
It happens as these celebrities tend to hit their golden years.
Evan Almighty was better. Changed my mind. Here's why no one can change your mind, Paul. Nobody fucking watched Evan Almighty.
Yeah, nobody has enough evidence.
Dude.
All right. I mean, we were having fun until you brought Evan Almighty up. So I guess we're just going to move on with spontaneous human combustion. That was okay. Impertinence or lack of restraint or moderation, more or less, people drink. When they drink, they get sloppy, they spill on themselves, and then it's ignited. A pretty victim-blamey attitude, if you ask me. But that's kind of how it seems. They're like, oh, this guy burst into flames because he drank. The guy just came home from...
Stupid idiot.
Well, a guy just came home from church, poured himself a glass of red wine, sat down, maybe had a cigarette, fell asleep, and then...
Is red wine flammable?
I don't know.
I'm going to go with, let's say he probably poured himself a nice...
glass of gasoline. I mean, don't ask me what this guy does after church. That's none of my business. I'm skeptical about this, and here's why. I've thrown a lit cigarette into a bucket of gas, and it didn't blow up.
Yeah, I think that's a Mythbusters episode.
Yeah, it didn't even catch fire. Nothing happened aside from my cigarette going psst, and my friend John looking at me like, what did you expect to happen?
Or, thank God that's the way it ended.
Well, he goes, what did you expect to happen? I was like, I don't know, maybe...
Like a cool mini explosion?
I was like, maybe fire?
Come on.
And he was like, no, it doesn't burn hot enough. And so, like, we did tests and we tried, and cigarettes won't ignite gas. But that's hardly the scientific method. My point to all this is that the fumes would have to be really, really strong for a lit cigarette to be an effective ignition source, and the person would need to be soaked with alcohol and need an igniter hotter than a cigarette.
Okay.
That's what I came to. That's the conclusion.
So just roll in there with like pure isopropyl alcohol and a thermite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Road flare, maybe, if you're, more handy.
That's right. That's the way to do it. So I guess if you are covered in gasoline, like you're changing the fuel filter on your car and you walk inside and you're literally just soaked in gasoline, and then decide you're going to do some electrical work and short it out and cause a spark.
But just get a little arc to your forearm, which ignites your entire life.
Yeah, I think that I might be open to, but I still don't. I mean, that's kind of one of those, it's the perfect storm.
Yeah.
So a lot of victims were claimed to be drunks that had saturated their cells with alcohol.
Whoops.
Saturated their cells with alcohol.
Right up by where it says Twitch above your chat, click on multi-chat. You won't be able to type into it, but Facebook and YouTube comments will go there.
Ah.
Yeah. And so will the Twitch ones.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Sloppy Drunks is a...
Whoa.
Kenny chugged gasoline and he was fine. Some Facebook commenters on there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Facebook. I had no idea that I had to see. I'm new. I'm new to this. So I will promise I will be more involved there. So I do have a little bit of science class for you on how alcohol moves through the body. So once swallowed, a drink enters the stomach and small intestine, where small blood vessels carry it to the bloodstream. Approximately 20% of alcohol is absorbed through the stomach, and most of the remaining 80% is absorbed through the small intestine. Alcohol is metabolized by the liver, where enzymes break down the alcohol. Understanding the rate of metabolism is critical to understanding the effects of alcohol. In general, the liver can process 1 ounce of liquor or 1 standard drink in 1 hour. If you consume more than this, your system becomes saturated and the additional alcohol will accumulate in the blood and body tissues until it can be metabolized. This is why pounding shots or playing drinking games can result in high blood alcohol concentrations that last for several hours. I have a source for all that. I will post that on the website as well. Because again,
you don't have to have a source for it. You have personal experience with it.
Yeah, I have in the field research being done.
1 shot per hour.
Yeah, anything more than 1 shot per hour is too much. Pace yourself.
Apparently, you have more than that, and guess what? You become a woo chick.
Woo!
Yeah. Nobody likes a woo chick. Well, that's a lie. There's some people that like woo chicks.
Yeah, we don't talk about those people. So in the 1970s, it was theorized that someone's depressed emotional state could cause combustion. So I'm just going to roll right on through that because, I mean, I guess that's the one that Incubus was talking about. He's just kind of sad about where he went with his life and then burst into flames. I mean, this guy right here says...
he asked to be pardoned.
Well, he didn't want to inconvenience anybody.
Pardon me while I burst into these flames. If you'd like to stay, you're more than welcome. I, however, would like you possibly to at least give me 6 feet. It's the original social distancing.
There you go. We have, it looks like Aaron wants to volunteer to test this alcohol theory, so we'll saturate him in alcohol.
We should have just done it 2 nights ago then.
I think he called himself out on that earlier.
Yeah.
Also, static electricity built up inside from outside geomagnetic forces.
Not just rubbing your socks on the carpet?
It's going to have to be big socks and a really staticky carpet.
And a very long, staticky carpet.
Yeah.
This carpet's 400 miles long. Don't ever lift your feet and here's some wool socks.
Yeah, and I think, like, you would have to, like, get it all at once. You would have to travel along all that to build up enough. I think it would just...
Sounds boring.
I don't know, dude, getting ripped along a 400-mile carpet in wool socks, like, all at once.
Yeah. I have the power.
Imagine the shock when you hit something, like you go to grab the doorknob at the end.
It already kind of sucks when that happens. So I imagine I wouldn't like it very much.
I always feel so bad when the cats jump up on me and I go to pet them and I just zap them.
Like, what sorcery is this?
What the fuck? Why would you do that?
70 shag carpet.
Yeah, there you go. Nick gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 400 miles of 70 shag carpet at light speed.
Near light speed. We know that we can't go faster. It's not allowed. Hey, man, I'm just telling you what the theories say.
See, this is kind of why I like the video format.
you can show them how you stare me down.
Yeah, because then when I can't leave awkward silences in a podcast, but I can go.
And I can go.
I'm not fast enough to get the scene switch down, though, so the timing's
That's cool.
not
I
right
waited.
yet.
I waited.
The timing's not right yet. Okay. So static electricity built up from outside geomagnetic forces. This has a small amount of merit, I would say, more than the alcohol theory. But I'm not a scientician. I don't know. A fire needs 3 things: ignition source, air, and fuel. If you're coated in gasoline in a poorly ventilated room and happen to accrue a large static charge and then touch something metal, the resulting spark could be enough to set off a fire. However, you would be awake and it wouldn't be spontaneous human combustion now, would it?
No, it'd be like, I believe, not to go back to Mythbusters again, however, I believe they tested a myth of a dude who farted a bunch in a tiny, unventilated room, and something similar, like an alarm clock clicking on had a spark and blah, blah, blah. Like, that was the myth. And so they tested it.
I can't believe they got paid for that. I can't believe that was a TV show.
It took a preposterous amount of methane gas in a room to make any sort of explosion that was worthy of something. So it wasn't very plausible. But yeah, exactly. They got paid to do that. So, don't light up a room unless you got a fan, just in case. Just in case.
That's fucking... I can't believe that they... When teachers tell you can be anything you want to be, you really fucking can be anything you want to be.
I mean, if you're good at it, those two dudes are...
You just got to find somebody who wants to watch it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are incredibly intelligent dudes. Hey. Can I be Robin? And I don't mean to Batman, to Howard Stern.
I don't know if you have enough sass.
I'll work on the sass game, but I definitely am going to take days off just so I can call in and go, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
Are you trying to get people to call in and go, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey?
No, I just said that I wanted to do that. So, I mean,
all right, okay.
You're the one that put it in the universe. I'm just saying.
Yeah, as you can see, the phone number, if you do want to call in, is 805-666-2513, and it's like right there.
I was trying to find it. Here,
there.
Switch back and see if I got it.
Yeah, you think you can do it? Look at you go.
Hey.
So, Vanna. So no, it's not spontaneous human combustion. If that's what happens, it's bursting into flames because you provided the fumes in the room emanating from your body a proper air source and ignition source. So that one's out too. One scientist thinks it's the work of a new subatomic particle called the pyroton, which interacts with cells to create small explosions. This is my favorite because I like to think that at any moment, a tiny little pyroton could just rip through something and set it on fire.
It's just going to ignite through it.
Looking at you, California forests.
Oh, man.
Pyrotons out there making that shit happen.
Pyrotons were deciding whether it was a boy or girl.
Mm-hmm.
Pyroton gender reveal.
So I honestly, God, I'm really not even sure what to say about that. I don't know about photons and electrons and pyrotons, and I don't.
Who's requesting daily selfies over there?
Oh, God, I hope nobody. Oh, it's Paul.
Oh, Paul, yeah, Paul,
Yeah,
baby. I'll get you yours a little later. I can't take off my shirt on stream. It's against the rules.
So if you have a theory on what spontaneous human combustion is, you can throw it in the comments. You can call in. We're getting pretty close to the end of this whole shindig here. So if you do have anything you want to say, you can call in. You know, the future episodes might be longer, might be shorter. It depends on, you know, this and how much interaction we get and how much information I have. And we could spread it out and we can do it all at once. We're fluid here.
Can I be a messenger for a moment?
Please.
Hey, Nick. Getty said hello.
Oh, dang.
Getty from the Twitch chat is crossing through hellagregLIVE to tell you, Nick, on the Facebook chat, hello.
Hey, from Paul, Getty, Nick says hi. So that's two more meta steps.
Man, Getty, you're really breaking through, dude. You're like
So
Deadpool
many
or something
walls.
right now.
Can you break the fourth wall, like, in our reality? Is there a...
I mean, if you know somebody outside the forest, right? Is that?
Do you have to know them, or can you just
break it to them assuming they're there?
Well, I would assume it would be something like The Office where you
So that's when Greg asked me a question that I just didn't know I had the answer to. But all of a sudden, it came to me. No, Greg, you don't have to know him.
That's terrifying. Remember when Looney Tunes would pull the eraser down? And...
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's my favorite fourth wall.
Yeah.
Anyway, science says spontaneous human combustion is not actually happening, but there is a lot of speculation on what is actually happening. So the one of the very few cases of spontaneous human combustion that were actually investigated, almost all seem to have happened to near some type of ignition source. So it is possible that they were wearing flammable material and caught on fire and didn't wake up and burned to death. That's a thing, I guess.
I hate it all.
If
I'm being honest. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Is that fair for what's happening right now?
I've slept. I sleep, dude. When I fall asleep, I do not
sleep like the dead. I believe.
I don't wake up.
Yeah.
Oh dang. Okay, I had another missed call. How are these not ringing? I'm sorry, guys.
Just call Getty back.
Okay, I'll call Getty back.
That's right. We're just calling you back. I guess you just got to keep an eye on it. For now.
Oh Jesus.
Oh man, that's loud.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Getty, what's up?
Hey, am I on?
Yes.
Hey, Carson, am I on?
That's exactly what I thought.
Long time, first time?
First time listener, first time caller.
Excellent.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you that Joe Dirt's father's not dead. I'm looking at his father right now.
I miss you, Getty.
I miss you too.
You like the first call that got answered?
You didn't get answered, but you got called back.
You are actually the first call that answered. You know? So you've got that distinction.
What's going on? Is this show still going on?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Show's still going on.
buddy.
This is all happening live right now.
Oh, hell yeah.
So what's your theory on spontaneous human combustion, Getty?
Oh, man, I hope it happens to me soon, though.
The millennial mindset. I didn't ask to be here, and I'd like to be taken out, please.
Yeah. Well, otherwise, I'm just going to die in, like, a car accident. I want my name in the paper.
At the very least.
I want my name in light.
That's right. All right, Getty. We appreciate the call.
Thanks for having me. You'll be hearing from my lawyer.
Great.
See you, Getty.
Can't wait. All right. Yeah. Anything can happen.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is. Threw me off my game. Oh,
There
look.
we go. We can hear it now.
I have another one. Here we go.
Call from
Taylor.
Okay.
to accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press.
You should be on hellagregLIVE?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. What if you're wearing fire retardant clothes and you spontaneously combust?
Oh, and test the fire retardation from the inside out?
Yeah, would you just contain yourself within it?
I would guess. I mean, that seems to make the most sense.
You just come back to a bowl of soup inside a flame retardant suit?
Mm.
Did that prevent it altogether? Maybe.
I guess
Or
you'd...
if you're like permanently in water.
I hate it anyway. I hate it all. Is that still an acceptable
Okay, so
response to
I think I tried to clarify at the beginning. I'm not a scientist.
this? I believe you said a Scientologist.
Ooh. now,
Then I lied, man.
now, yeah. So I don't know, but you've wrinkled my brain and given me a lot to think about.
What do you think would happen, Taylor, if that were the case?
I think it would be like a matter antimatter situation. If you were to catch on fire from the inside out, but you were protected from the outside in, I think it would just cancel each other out, and then you'd become like in a chrysalis. You're just goopy soup, and maybe you'll come out.
It's a beautiful butterfly.
Exactly.
I like that theory. That's the best theory so far. That was the most positive thing that's happened. You all look like tiny little ants.
Nailed it.
Nice.
Okay. Cheers.
Thanks.
See you, Taylor.
Bye.
Bye.
God, that really hurt my brain, and I was trying to look shit up while she was asking questions. So over here, I have fire inside a fireproof suit in my Google search history now.
Well, there we go on that.
Not real sure.
Paul says that he does love soup, though.
Yes. What kind? Nah. You know what? I don't want to start that debate. There's also a thing called the wick effect. Essentially, the body turns into an inside-out candle. The fats and oils inside your body keep the flame alive and hot enough to burn through the rest of the body.
That's kind of what I think of when I think of it. You know what I mean? Like instantaneous ignition and like you're gone doesn't seem even at 25. I mean, I don't know what sort of temperatures go into a crematorium, but I know even then you're not gone. They have to break down the bones and they grind them, and then like it's a whole process. You don't just disappear. Like the fact that like you have so much fat and flammable material just in you and on you, especially if you're a little heavier, the reverse candle effect seems to make the most sense. I mean, if you were to combust and to burn and not be around anymore, that's the one that
I remember we've talked about this in the past, and one of the things that we talked about was that it tends to happen to older people and handicapped people.
Okay.
Because they are, well, in some theory, they are immobile, and that's why they can't get help. A normal person would be able to get out of bed and stop, drop, and roll, whereas maybe an elderly person can't, so they are stuck.
Okay. Okay.
Something to
Or
ponder.
like, what if it's very active people only, and it's friction that starts it all?
I would assume it's a sexy fire. All right. We have another incoming call.
Call from
Slammy.
Slammy.
Yeah, Slammy here.
What's up, dude?
Hi, guys.
Hey, Slammy.
Just want to say, loving the show. Everything's great so far. Quick thought of mine part was the theory on oxygen tank and smoking cigarettes at the same time.
Yeah.
You heard that before.
Well, yeah, oxygen is like super flammable. That's why you need it to start a fire. And like if you have an engine running and you put your hand over the air intake, it stops the air to the fuel and fire, so it chokes it out and it puts the fire out. Like when you put a little thing over a candle and it puts it out.
Right.
So having pure oxygen probably takes less of an ignition source. But yeah, it definitely that's a real thing. I've seen it happen. I don't know if cigarettes could ignite it, but I know like
if you
oxygen.
went to like spark a cigarette and you had a leak in the mask or something.
Yeah, or in the tanks.
Yeah, I remember seeing a video of an older woman on a couch, and she had an oxygen tank next to her, smoking a cigarette, or she was burnt up, like you said, combustion inside, and that was one of the theories with the oxygen, inhaling it, and then smoking at the same time, probably chain smoking while smoking cigarettes. So that was a theory I had. See if you guys had any thoughts on it.
I totally know people who used to like wheel the oxygen tanks around and smoke, and like it's super dangerous. It's super dangerous because not because you're gonna like slowly burn like we've been talking about though. That would be more like a hand grenade where the flame would travel back through the oxygen tube into the tank and explode the tank.
Okay.
That's what I would think. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I like the concept. I'm definitely stopping through with Slammy sometimes, and we hitting that sub button soon.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, Slammy.
Appreciate you, dude.
All right, guys. Talk to you guys soon.
Bye. See, this is fun. We're having fun.
We're having fun here.
Oftentimes, people are found passed out due to heavy drinking. Again, I could see being passed out hard enough to not wake up to being set on fire, which has happened. It was, I mean, I wasn't engulfed in flames, but I was wrapped in flaming material. So and I didn't wake up, but they put me out, and it was relatively harmless.
That's
nice. Yeah. But I wasn't soaked in booze, so there's that. Most of them were elderly, and a lot were female. I don't know what being female had to do with anything. Like I didn't see anything that said, "Hey, it's because of this or that," or
right.
I have no idea what that is.
Paul says, check your Facebook messages.
I don't know how while I'm doing this, Paul. I'll have to figure it out. This is the first time out, man. There's gonna be some hiccups. I'm gonna figure things out. Things
Text
will get
us,
smoother.
Paul.
Yeah, well, he probably has been. I don't know about. I'm running a show here, so I can't look at my phone. But anyway, I can see how
turn up the phone people a little bit.
Oh, copy that. I can see how it would be hard to get away being old to like stop, drop, and roll with shitty knees and a bad attitude and a bad back. And
Been there.
Yeah, totally. So, like we talked about, I could see how that could cause it to be an issue. Stevens-Jackson's syndrome is a rare syndrome in which a victim has a harsh reaction to medication, which causes rashes that could be mistaken for burns, and often leave the extremities unaffected, but only affects the torso. Again, it doesn't melt the body. It just gives you a rash that makes it look like you burned. So if you wanted to claim like a spontaneous human combustion survivor award or something. That's really...
I was saying boo-earns.
Alcohol ruined my life. I'm only 31 years old.
Can we just sit here and do Hans Mollman quotes for the rest of the night?
Yes.
I'll take the biggest seed bell you've got. No, that's too big.
I want to know how big it was.
It had to be big.
So, yeah, that's kind of all I've got on spontaneous human combustion. I appreciate people calling in. You still got a minute if you want.
Last call, guys.
Yeah.
Get your calls in. 805-666-2513. Do it.
You heard the man. So is the jury still out? Yes or no? It depends on who you ask. Science says no, there is no such thing as spontaneous human combustion. And that's kind of all I got. You can, again, if you're watching on Facebook, I appreciate it. hellagregLIVE.
Check out your big comment right there real quick.
My big comment. Oh, I deliver oxygen for a living, and it's definitely a concern. Customers are old and stubborn, and many will have pretty bad scars and burns where the nasal cannula will melt to their skin. The tank won't necessarily explode. Had a customer whose entire house burnt down, and she had 4 liquid vessels in there. I don't know how she didn't demo 6 blocks. Holy cow!
Wow.
Okay, so that's really good information. I always assumed it went up and it caused the tank to explode.
Dude, Baxwar.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Good call.
Good
That's awesome. I
love
really
an
appreciate
expert.
that. Yeah, that's awesome. Damn, I actually did learn something now.
There you go.
Yeah,
You learn something new every day.
a little bit better every day.
Sometimes.
A little bit better every
Little
day.
bit better every time.
So you can find me on Facebook, hellagregLIVE, or just hellagregg is my page. Instagram, hellagregg, Twitch, hellagregg, YouTube, hellagregg, Twitter, hellagregg.
He's out there like that.
It's branding, baby.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, follow, all that shit that you can and can't do yet. Thank you for watching. Thank you for playing. Thank you for sending comments. And I appreciate it. I will see you guys next Tuesday.
So,